This episode of SpectreSoundStudios is brought to you by DistroKid. Get your music online to over 150 different sources. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 87 of SMG Viewers Comments. Let's get right to it.
Damn it, dude. Muskrat love? Fuck, that's gonna be stuck in my head all day now.
Yeah, sorry for bringing that one up, man. I guess it's a good thing we didn't mention Jesus is a friend of mine.
Jesus is a friend of mine. Jesus is my friend.
Yeah, good luck getting that one out of your head today. Careful or we're gonna play Disco Duck next. I know, it's cruel and unusual punishment, isn't it?
A bass player here. Why not the two notes la bass as well? I know shirts are smarter than most of us, but still, it has such an awesome sound.
Yes, you're absolutely right. The two notes la bass does have an absolutely awesome sound. I've got one and I'm not giving it away because it is fucking awesome and I get a lot of use out of that. So there you go. I've got a lot of great amps kicking around and I figure, hey, you know what? I can share the la pedals with you guys, la crunch, la clean, la lead. Somebody's going to get some use out of those. I'm sure you could get some use out of the la bass too, but no, screw you. I'm keeping it. It's awesome.
Glenn disses Tears for Fears, heads to comment section to look for triggered people. Was not disappointed.
Funny you mentioned that.
Tears for Fears are multiple times better than songwriters that anyone Glenn Fricker has ever recorded or probably even met in his whole life. Hell, half the songs he named in this video are in a class way above anything he's ever done. Christ, this guy is an idiot. If you want to listen to this guy tell you how to use new software program, fine. But for fuck's sakes, if you're new to music, do not let this guy influence your taste. Learn something about music and take everything this boner says with a grain of salt.
Obviously a Tears for Fears fan. Get well soon, pal. Seriously though, any self-respecting headbanger kid who grew up in the 80s fucking absolutely despised Tears for Fears. Everybody who wants to rule the world was bad enough, but shout, let it all out, just makes me want to gouge my fucking eyeballs out with a fork. Deal with it.
Really, Glenn? You give away your main gear, Rev? Why is that? Is it broken?
No, were you not paying attention to the video? I specifically said it's going to rev before it gets shipped out. Dan Trudeau, the designer of the amp, is going to look it over, make sure everything's perfect with it before it gets shipped. When did you miss that part? Okay, the reason I'm giving away the amp is my way of saying thank you to all you guys for supporting the channel and subscribing. It really means everything to me. And you know what? Yeah, it's gonna be sad to see it go, but you know what? You guys are worth it because this is worth it to me, so you're welcome. Oh yeah, and I've also got the Mark II, which I'll be putting a review out on very soon.
Hey Glenn, I was debating on buying a Countryman Type 85 DI box for reamping, but according to my music store guy, he said that my high Z input on my Steinberg MR, whatever the fuck, would do the same job. Before you get into what a crappy salesman he is, you just want to remind you he's one of my really good friends. I also checked online and it seems people say that it wouldn't make much of a difference between my high Z input and a DI box. Love the show, by the way, means by the way, word.
Okay, look, just because he's your friend doesn't make him a good salesman. The fact of the matter is a dedicated circuit is going to work. And the one big difference between the high impedance input on your interface and an actual dedicated DI box is... The one main difference between your input and a dedicated direct box is you're going to get a pass-through, which you won't get on an interface. You'll just get to plug your guitar in. This, you can pass through and get an output to a mic preamp, but this output will go to your amplifier as well, so you can still play a guitar amp. You're just not going to be able to get that with a regular interface. The Countryman is also a dedicated circuit and cleaner. And yes, it will make a difference. It's only a couple $100 and it'll last you your entire life. I highly recommend getting one. It is almost as cheap as a night out with your mom.
I agree with this video, but ultimately I'm disappointed that you have to have a gimmick to get people to click on your video as opposed to just focusing on the music.
Dude, that's just the way it is, unfortunately. It's like, yeah, you've got to be visually appealing. Doesn't matter if you're hot or you just have a very clever video. Yeah, if you want people to pay attention to your music, chances are having a visual aspect to go along with it will go a long way to helping people notice your video. Be creative.
I hope there will be a character in Rick and Morty and you'll voice it.
I love that idea. That sounds fantastic. Can you guys write into the creators of Rick and Morty and tell them they need to get me on the show because I would fucking love to do that. That's a fabulous idea. Okay, everybody, this episode is sponsored by DistroKid. DistroKid is the service that gets your music out to multiple online retailers and saves you the hassle. They'll put your songs up on the majors like iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, and Spotify, sometimes even within hours of uploading, plus over 150 smaller online music retailers as well. This works for bands, solo artists, and original songs, and even cover songs. DistroKid will get your music out there and get you the license you need for those covers. In fact, it's what I use for my own personal projects. And for the first time in my life, I'm actually making money off my music, no record label required. It only costs $20 a year and you keep 100% of your earnings. If you follow the link in the description below, you can get a 7% discount on your yearly membership. Check it out at distrokid.com/VIP/Spectre. Now back to the show.
Thanks for the best video so far. Big corporations, corrupt reviews, and overall absent trustworthiness is a plague. Keep on kicking fancy suited balls, mister.
Thanks very much. Just want to give you guys a little update. Yes, Fearless Gear Reviews will be back in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be looking at a couple of pieces of gear you guys have been asking me to check out. Just to let you know, that's all funded through Patreon. I'm taking the money you guys send me on Patreon, and I'm using that to fund new gear for Fearless Gear Reviews, so I can give you guys my absolute unbiased opinion on what is what. Boy, manufacturers are really gonna fucking hate this series. Thanks so much for your support, by the way. I can't wait to do the next one.
Hey Glenn, can you flip me off and call me a ninny in the next video?
What kind of a meathead uses the word ninny?
Anyone? Reverb on toms? I have a 1/8 note floor tom beat, and just trying to reverb, it sounds clicky as hell, and not even in a good way. In the mix, it just sounds like I put some reverb on someone snapping their fingers. I put a high shelf after the reverb, before the reverb, use pre and post faders, nothing sounds bad. Now, a normal tom fill is great, but the constant 1/8 note pattern sounds terrible. Have you ever come across this awkward situation and found a way to get around it?
Yeah, dude, increase your pre-delay. That'll increase the time it takes from the initial strike of the sound to you get your first reverberation. That'll probably let your next 8th note through. So hopefully that'll help you out. So just make that space a little bit bigger. Should work out for you. And make sure you're using the same reverb on the snare as you are on the toms. Make sure everything's in the same room. Oh yeah, and make sure all your other mics are gated out as well, because chances are you might have, say, something bleeding through on a snare mic or the next tom mic over. Be real careful about that.
Glenn, I'm recording my band and I'm running into an important problem I can't find anybody else talking about. We're making click tracks during the making of the guitars, and drummer wanted me to adjust the tempo by a couple of BPM every other part because we play this part slow and it alternates every 4 measure or however long the part is. I personally feel that this is actually the inconsistency of the band, especially since they've never played to a click track before. Can you give me any advice on whether they are correct or am I? If it depends on the circumstance, which I suspect it does, how do I handle this situation? This will result in a tempo change every other measure going on from 190 to 191 BPM, the next riff, almost every riff of every song, for example.
Yeah, your bandmates are wrong. Generally, tempo changes are for major things. You know, if you're going from like a verse to a chorus kind of thing, and the chorus actually needs to slow down. You're absolutely right that it is the inconsistencies in the band. A steady metronome there will make them honest. If you need to convince them, ask them to watch this video where I can say, hey, dumbass, you don't need a fucking tempo change there. Learn how to play fucking properly. See? Simple. Honestly, though, I've seen situations where I've had a band come in and they threw in all these unnecessary tempo changes, and I'm like, this is on a pop punk record where they're slowing the chorus down and speeding the verse back. I'm like, the fuck are you guys doing? This doesn't need tempo changes. Just fucking play it all the way through. It sounds much better. Oh, good idea. You know, just because you have access to a tempo map doesn't mean you need to put all kinds of intricate changes in. Most of the times, for most rock and metal, a steady tempo is going to be just fine. You know, if you're playing like deathcore, that kind of stuff, I can see why you'll need a lot more intricate tempo maps, but for the most part, don't overdo it. Less is more in this case.
Hey Glenn, great fan of the show. I have a question about uploading covers to YouTube. I have a project with another guitarist coming up. We want to remake songs, instrumental and acoustic. Do you know if there are any copyright problems? We wouldn't intend to do ads as of yet. I know that would be a problem. Cheers, man.
It depends on how much you're transforming the material. Chances are, if a song has already been covered, you don't need to get a license because artists aren't allowed to discriminate, as far as I know, when it comes to that sort of thing. If a cover of a song you want to do is already out there, you've got no problem covering it. YouTube is usually right up on that sort of thing. Just make sure you're doing a transformative copy, and then it falls under fair use, where you've transformed the song enough from the original, it becomes something unique. That being said, if you want to sell that, I highly recommend getting on board DistroKid because they can get you licenses for cover songs. We did that for Moon on the Water, and it's like a one-time fee for the year, and then you can sell that legally. And that worked out great for us, and that is the easiest way to get licenses as far as I know. Check out the link below, distrokid.com/VIP/Spectre, and you can sign up for it there. It's fucking awesome.
Do you have to have a 100-watt tube amp head for live playing, or does something like a 40 to 60 watts work just fine, particularly for heavy rock? Also, what are your thoughts on Stevie T? Love the channel.
Dude, honestly, the loudest amp I own is my 1966 Trainer head, which is a grand total of 40 watts. The thing is just fucking loud enough to melt concrete. Wattage ratings don't really mean shit, to be honest with you. It's just turn the fucking volume up and see what happens. I know there's a lot of 50 watt Marshall heads out there that do a bang up job. Yeah, a 40 watt can be great, like a Rev 740. That's going to be more than enough for what you're doing. You can't go wrong with a 100 watt head either. It really depends on what you want to spend. But don't get so caught up on wattage ratings. I mean, like, obviously the tiny amps maybe aren't as loud as the bigger amps, but for the most part, most stage heads are ready for the stage. And as for Stevie T, hey, you know what? Good for him. Glad he's having a lot of success. I find his videos very interesting.
Maybe Bilbo Baggins by Leonard Nimoy, LOFL.
That is a great fucking idea, man. Holy shit. That has to be one of the best cover song suggestions for that contest I've fucking seen yet. Good idea, man. Go for it. I'm sure that's going to be amazing. All right, that's it for this episode. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to check out distrokid.com and get your music out to the world. I will see you guys next time. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this episode. If you like the content, please support the channel either at my SMG shop or through my Patreon. If you want to see more, hit one of the playlists. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here.